Toxicology.
Great. Hi, everyone. So my name is Peter McPherson. I am the graduate coordinator, and Dr. Michelle Arnot is the undergraduate coordinator. And we're going to talk about, basically, I'm going to give a presentation about the graduate programs we have in pharmacology and toxicology. And Dr. Arnott will also be able to ask any questions that anybody has about undergraduate research opportunities in the department. So why don't I get started? I'm going to dive right in and tell you all about the kind of graduate programs we have in graduate pharmacology. So we've got a master's program, that's a 2-year program, and we've got 2 versions, 2 flavors. We've got a course-based applied clinical pharmacology stream, and we have a more traditional thesis-based program. And both of these are 2-year. We've also got PhD program, 4-year program. If you're coming out of a master's program, you can jump into the PhD program, the 4-year program. Or if you are interested and you're an undergraduate, you can start as a PhD student in the direct entry, and that's a 5-year program. A lot of master's students actually start as a master's students and have the idea, maybe if things are going pretty well, I'm actually going to see how the master's program goes, and then maybe after a year, I'll transfer into the PhD program. So that is another entry portal into the PhD program. A lot of our master's students will go and say, I'm going to start as a master's, and then if things go well, I'll continue as a PhD. So our graduate program, we've got about 70 graduate faculty members, and it feels like every year we're expanding that graduate faculty membership. We've got currently about 159 graduate students. It seems to be that this number is growing and growing. I feel like our program is growing and growing. We have right now about 39 masters in the thesis-based stream, about 30 course-based masters in the ACP stream, about 90 PhD students. This year, this past September, we took about 46 new students, just so you have an idea of where the numbers are. What are the kind of things you can study in our graduate program? What are various research areas that are offered? They are very diverse, and you can do all kinds of research from molecular-based research at the bench, molecular pharmacology-based research. You can also do patient-facing research with clinical patients, and you can do all kinds of things in between that involve working with animals, behavioral research. So there's many different flavors of pharmacology and toxicology research. A lot of our students are doing research on drug addiction or alcoholism. That can also include neuropharmacology, also molecular pharmacology, and some of our students are working at OCI and cancer pharmacology, receptor pharmacology, signal transduction, clinical pharmacology, like I mentioned before, patient-facing research, drug metabolism, pharmacokinetics, cardiovascular pharmacology. We have a few students at St. Mike's and Mount Sinai doing cardiovascular pharmacology, pharmacogenetics, pharmacogenomics, toxicology, and we also have a collaborative specialization program that's based in our department called the Collaborative Specialization in Biochemical Toxicology. What are the kind of things you can do after you've done a graduate program in our department? A lot of our students are very interested in working in the pharmaceutical industry or in the biotech industry. So they may work in pharma, they may work directly in some research capacity, they might be coordinating clinical trials, they might be working in regulatory affairs, management, administration, consulting. The very big area in our graduates go into consulting, where they're working for a company that's telling the larger company what they should be doing. Business development, venture capital. Some of our graduates end up working in government in various capacities. Health Canada at the federal level. They might be working in Ministry of Health or environmental laboratories, maybe forensic toxicology at the provincial level. Some of our graduates go on to academic positions, university professors, maybe lecturing at a community college, or they might take up various roles in research in hospitals, research institutes, and university labs. So there's kind of an idea of the kind of opportunities that are available for our graduates. So let me get into the programs a little bit. Let's start with the master's program. We'll talk about the course-based stream. That's known as the Applied Clinical Pharmacology stream. So the course-based stream is basically, you can think of it in practical terms. You are paying for a 2-year program, you're paying 2 years of tuition, and you're not getting stipendial support, unlike the thesis-based master's and the PhD program. Okay. Why would students want to take this program? There's a lot of students who think, yeah, I'd like to get some more insight and experience in pharmacology, and I'd like to go and then move into a career in pharma, in industry. And they want to have a certain level of foundation of skills or knowledge. They might want to have some experience with clinical trial design, regulatory aspects of pharmacology before they go into a position in industry. So that if you're in that boat, this is a good program for you. This is a good program for you. And why is it unique? You can basically tailor the program to what you want to do. You have a lot of flexibility in the kind of courses you can take, and the kind of research experience you can have. The class sizes are small, less than 20 students every year. It's usually 16 we take every year. Lots of opportunities to get hands-on skills with laboratory research opportunities in clinical settings, and what's very enticing is there's a number of practicum opportunities where you're going to be able to go out into the workforce and get some real-world work experience, which ends up, and some of these placements are pretty intriguing, industry, government, and very often students who do these practicums end up getting hired out of the program by the same companies they did the placements with. So that can be a real motivation for people who want to take the program, is to have an opportunity to do these placements. Let me talk about the thesis-based program. Again, a 2-year program, more traditional thesis-based, meaning you're going to do dedicated thesis research. You're going to be supported by a graduate supervisor who's also going to pay you a stipend that's going to give you a certain amount of money to pay your tuition and give you a living allowance as well. We don't have a big ask as far as what you have to take as far as courses. We only make you take one course, and it's called Graduate Pharmacology. Okay, one full year course called Graduate Pharmacology. At the beginning of second year, you're going to give a 15-minute seminar to the department about how your research is going. Okay, and then at the very end, you're going to write up your thesis, and you're going to defend it at an oral defense. So pretty simple program for a master's. Okay. And some of you are thinking, well, that kind of sounds like fun, but you know what? That applied clinical pharmacology program sounds kind of intriguing as well. And maybe I can't decide which one I should apply for. And maybe you're like, which one should I apply to, Dr. McPherson? I'll tell you, what? Why not think about doing both? You can apply for both. And if you do want to apply for both or be considered for both, contact me and I can help make the application process efficient. So don't hesitate to reach out to me if you're interested in applying to both programs. Okay. So let me talk about the PhD program now. PhD program, as I mentioned before, if you're finishing a master's, you can start the PhD program. It's a 4-year program. If you're in 4th year of an undergraduate program and you want to think about starting your PhD, no problem. We have the direct entry option. That's considered a 5-year program. Or a lot of people will be like, I just want to start a master's and then see how it goes. And if things go well, maybe I can transfer, and that's totally fine. And so a lot of people are like, should I apply for the direct entry? If I want to do my PhD, should I apply for the direct entry, or should I just see how it goes and start as a master's and then maybe transfer. And you have total flexibility. Some people will want to be like, I just want to get the PhD started right away. No problem. You can certainly apply for that. And but a lot of students are like, why don't I start as a master's? I don't know what this graduate school thing is going to be like. Why don't I start as a master's? And if it goes great, I can transfer into the PhD program, and that's no problem at all. And let me point out that is possible to do that in the thesis stream for the master's program, but not the course-based stream. If you're thinking about the course-based stream, applied clinical pharmacology, you'll have to finish that program before you can actually start a PhD program, just so you know. Okay, so as I mentioned, the PhD program, I've talked about the various ways you can start. Again, it's a dedicated thesis research program. You're going to be supported in a similar way by a graduate supervisor, as well as a committee of graduate faculty members who are going to oversee and make sure that you're on track with your research. You're also going to take one course and one other course that's pretty much up to you. So you have a lot of flexibility as to what you can do. You're going to give a seminar after first year, in the middle of your program, and at the end of your program, and tell the department, how your research is going. You're also going to do 4 breadth modules, which are basically informal instruction segments and areas outside of your thesis research, which are going to give you some breadth in your learning of pharmacology. And then finally, you're going to have a thesis. You're going to write up your thesis research in a thesis, and you're going to have an oral defense, similar to the master's. So applications. How many people apply? Roughly, we receive about 300 applications a year. And they're in various stages. Sometimes they're not even complete. So I'm going to tell you probably about 200 of these applications are complete, and we look at those ones seriously. We end up going and saying, from that group, we end up making conditional offers to usually about 60 to 80 individuals, and maybe 25% of those are primarily interested in applied clinical pharmacology. And usually our intake is between 50 and 60 students. In the last year, it was a little bit lower because of COVID, so we took 46 students last year. Applying to the program, it's an online application portal, as you may be aware. On our website, going to grad programs admissions tells you all about what the requirements are, how to get in. When you're looking at applying to a program, when we're looking at student applications, one of the main things we're looking at are how you're doing in your final year of study, what's your academic records like, and have you had any previous experience doing research? And that's a real important thing, is having some experience doing research, which is going to give you some conviction about why you want to do graduate school, hopefully, and why you're interested in our program. So as far as applying goes, if to be considered for next fall, international students who are outside of North America have a deadline in January. We also have, everyone else has got this April-May deadline, but I'll tell you this, I strongly encourage you, if you can, if you're interested, apply sooner. Apply sooner. There are benefits to applying early, because we will start looking at applications in February as soon as we receive them. And we might be convinced to make you an offer at the end of February or March. And that's very helpful if you're in the thesis-based stream and you're interested in looking for a supervisor, because there are supervisors who are starting to look for students to take them on in the fall, and they'll start looking for them in February or March. And we could get you paired up with those supervisors. And wouldn't it be great to start graduate school and know I've got a supervisor all lined up? So it's great if you apply early, you might be able to get conditionally accepted before and have more time to secure a thesis supervisor, as opposed to waiting until the last minute and then kind of have to hunt for that supervisor when you may have had more opportunity to if you apply earlier. So I highly encourage you to apply early, and you might get looked at early and get an offer early. Folks, I think I'm probably done now. Yeah, I have 12:45, and hopefully that'll give us a lots of time for any questions. And Dr. Arnott will happily take any questions at all, or she may want to have say a few words about undergraduate research in our department. So I will stop talking now. And Dr. Arnott, did you want to say anything about undergraduate research?
No, I'll just answer questions, and I'm sure there will be questions about undergraduate research. We have a variety of different opportunities, but I'll maybe just answer some questions if there are
Yeah,
any.
great.
So if everyone can just put your questions in the chat, and Dr. McPherson and Dr. Arnott will answer your questions.
And while we're waiting for questions, I'll just say that email address there is on our website. You can, people who want to find out, or you're like, I'm not sure about this, I'm not sure about that, you can always email me and we can set up a Zoom chat. And I'm totally happy to do that. Anybody who's interested, maybe they don't want to even ask any questions here and they want to ask me privately, I'm totally fine with that. So don't hesitate. Okay, we got, okay. Is it possible to prep the application in third year? Oh, I don't know. No, you can actually, you know what? So that's a very interesting question. So if you're in third year and you're like, I'm kind of interested in graduate school, but I still got another year to go. Hey, you know what? You can always email me and we can set up a Zoom chat and I can tell you, hey, here's if I were you, these are the kind of things that I would try and make sure I could do in fourth year if you want. How's that sound? Okay. Oh yeah, look at all the questions. Isn't that exciting? Okay. Does the January deadline for international students also apply for those who are studying at U of T? I'm going to tell you, absolutely not. Okay, which is great because you're here. The reason we have that international deadline in January is to give us more time if an applicant is from outside North America, so we can understand their undergraduate program from outside North America. Sometimes we have to get transcripts or academic records converted. So if you're here, if you're at U of T, no problem, okay? You can go for the April deadline, all right? Let's see here. To what extent should any previous research be? To what extent? Okay. Having some undergraduate research experience is awesome, okay? If you can get some, it's great. And if you can get some undergraduate research experience and hopefully wow the people that you're doing the research for, maybe they can write you a reference letter and that'll tell the admission committee, hey, I've seen this person do research and I can really picture them doing research as a graduate student. You should take them. We really like those kind of letters, okay? So that'd be really great. How early can I start applying for graduate program? I'm a third year student now. I'd apply in fourth year, okay? Apply in fourth year, but you can apply as early as you want, okay? And if you're not sure about the process, you can always, again, email me. We can have a Zoom chat. I'm totally happy to tell you more about the process. Is there any preference for undergrads in Pharm Talks? I'm going to tell you right now, probably not. Probably not, but we do like to see people take pharmacology courses, but we don't actually have any rigid requirement that you have to take any pharmacology courses. We don't require it. So you can come. Yeah, Dr. Arnott has a comment.
I was just going to say that although we don't formally look at undergraduate, where exactly you do your undergraduate, I would say that sometimes undergraduates in Pharm and Talks do have an advantage because they are able to network.
Yeah.
and they're able to meet supervisors through teaching and through the research experiences that they might want to work for. So although we don't look to see where a student actually comes from, it often is a good opportunity if you are taking courses or in that unit to network and try to find or meet people that you might be interested in working with in the future.
Excellent. Yes. Okay. Where can undergrad students look for undergrad research outside of the courses?
So yeah, so I answered a little bit of this already, Peyton. There's PCL 297, which is a course. There's also work study positions that are often posted and summer studentships within the department, but also all of the allied health and the hospitals over the summer will post tons of research positions. You know, I know there was probably a limited number this past year due to COVID, but we're hoping that people have adapted and there'll be an increase in opportunities moving forward. So summer is probably the best opportunity through summer studentships, et cetera, outside of courses.
Okay. Yeah. I'm a recent graduate. Are there still research opportunities available to me in Pharm Talks? You mean like undergraduate research experience? I'm going to assume so. One way to get some experience is, yes, okay, is to do some networking, and there are often contacting faculty doing research. Timing, a lot of it is like you might be able to get a volunteer position. That's totally possible, and people do that all the time in an informal capacity outside of a course. So that's totally possible. So if you're interested in doing that, that's what I would recommend. And I can always, if you want to talk to me further about that later, I'm happy to talk with you about that. Can students outside of Pharm Talk sign up for PCL 297?
They can. So I've answered that. Yes, they can.
Okay. Are there any specific courses you would recommend taking outside of Pharm Talks? Okay, so we do have two requirements. Well, kind of like we'd like you to take a physiology, we'd like you to take a biochem, but we could still take you in the graduate school even if you don't take those. Okay, so having some kind of course like that is good. Okay.
You know, when I advise students who are undergraduate, and I'm sure you do too, Peter, when we talk to them about graduate school, some of the things that we talk about that they need is not necessarily any one course or any one program, but they need a well-rounded CV. And really, research experience is key. Their fourth year grades, kind of second half of third year, fourth year grades are key, and then reference letters. And every supervisor, after you get your foot in the door, every supervisor, potential supervisor, is going to look at those three things and they're going to rank them differently in their head about what's more important to them, as well as there'll be an interview process, which also plays a key role. So keep in mind that it's not one thing that will get you into graduate school, that it's a combination of research, reference letter, and, you know, getting the minimal grades required for entry into the program.
Absolutely. What is the admission rate for students in Canada but out of province? It's probably about the same as in province. So we don't discriminate against people from outside of Ontario at all. That's for sure. I hope that helps. Let's see, do we have more questions? Probably, let's see. Oh yeah, when you say second half of third year and fourth year, yes, third and fourth year courses specifically, that is correct. So when you apply, you will be applying in 4th year. You may not be done in 4th year. We might make a decision based on what you've done so far in 4th year and 3rd year and before, or we might say, wait, we won't make a decision yet, but we're going to wait and see what your 4th year marks turn out to be like in April and May. So sometimes we'll make a conditional offer early, and sometimes we'll want to wait and see how it goes. Oh, can you apply to graduate programs not out of 4th year, i.e. after a 1-year gap? Oh, yes, for sure. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, no problemo. How would that process work? I think I answered that. The supervisor for 297 should be part of the Pharm Tox department, or can be someone from another department too. Dr. Arnot will know.
Right. Yes, they don't have to be in the Pharm Tox department. They can be in another unit as well. And if they have questions about the course, they can email the undergraduate, or you can email the undergraduate office, and we can hook you up with Charlotte or Dr. Hamadani, who oversees the program.
Oh yeah, and references during a gap year. You know what? Faculty, they're not going to forget you. So there's nothing wrong with approaching a faculty member after a year and saying, "Oh, I'm applying to graduate school. You remember I was in your course, or I was in your lab a year or two ago." They will remember. It's part of our jobs to actually write letters for people, so they will. So that's not. I don't really see that as being a problem. So if you can go away for a year and then come back and apply to graduate school, no problemo. Will reference letters from Nonprofs be accepted? Yes, they will be. But we do, so I'm telling you the most compelling letters are from people who have seen you do research, okay? The person who delivers the newspaper, the piano teacher, not so much, okay? Or your uncle, not so, no, okay? So we see people have seen you do research, people have seen you in an academic setting, great. Employers is also cool, okay? And then after that, it's kind of like, yeah, okay. Yes, we'll be going to the next presenter. I think so. All right. Don't hesitate to give me a shout out if you have any other questions, folks. And I hope this has been great.
Thank you so much, Dr. Arnot and Dr. McPherson. And as I said, this session is recorded, so I'm going to stop recording the session right now.